Computer. Hi, Guire, how you doing?
I'm good. So glad to be here.
All
So
right.
happy to meet your sister.
All right, Marian. Guire's a counselor that's across my hall.
Hi there.
Awesome. Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Okay, I guess I'll just do this if he's going to let me share. And I'll go to the beginning. Okay. All right.
Okay, we'll wait a few minutes for more people to come.
Okay.
Jamise, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, yes. Hello. Hi, Thomas. Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jamise. Thank you, Rob, too. Veronica, we're going to get started in a few minutes.
You have a water there, Tom?
I'm on the air, Mom, right here. All right, Andy. Counselor Sarah.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, Andy, thank you so much. Andy, this is my sister, Marian Carrasco.
Everybody.
Marian, I've heard fantastic things. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for inviting me today.
So, Marian, me and Andy went to Berkeley. Andy, Marian was at Berkeley, too.
Ah, go Bears.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hear that, Akil? Bears, not the Trojans, man.
Hey,
Put the
Akil,
peacock
good to
feathers
see you.
down, Andy. Put the peacock feathers down, buddy.
So, wait another minute, Marian, or should we get started?
whatever you feel is good.
Okay.
Can you see my screen like this? Is it okay? So I can
Yeah,
monitor.
yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's okay. Okay, I'm going to get started, everybody. My name is Dr.Thomas Carrasco. I'm the chair of American Ethnic Studies. And one of the major reasons why we created this equity counseling is to give information out and actually just dialogue on what's going on at Santa Barbara City College and the community college at large. So these are very, very complicated issues that we're going to be discussing. And so again, I just hope everybody has an open mind. And actually, you know, one of the ways that I just came out, this emerged, I had met these two young Latina counselors in our ally program over the summer. And Marian has been at Ventura College for how many years, Marian? A long time right there.
36 years.
36 years. And so I think it's our duty as Chicana activists is to give information that we have been learning over these years. And so in that spirit, in regards of just like creating community and just trying to dialogue and deal with all the massive changes in the community college system, this concept of equity counseling came about. So as a Chicano studies scholar and a Chicano studies professor, I like to get real literal, right? Like, what is equity counseling, right? And so I wanted to empower our counselors and our students and create this dialogue. So Dr. Marian Carrasco Nungaray, she started at Oxnard College as a student and actually was the president of Oxnard College when she was there. Student body, and then she went to UC Berkeley, majored in sociology, started working at Ventura College, and then she got her master's and her doctorate at California Lutheran University. Simultaneously, she also studied with Rudy Acuna at Northridge and pursued her master's degree. So with no further ado, let's give a big round of applause. And also, Marian has also been working with Angela and the Transfer Center. She knows Jenny, Erica. So we have this relationship in regards to Santa Barbara City College, Ventura College, Oxnard College, Moore Park, in regards to Chicano studies and just trying to be students first, student-centered, and really getting Chicana and all students to the university, certificates. Again, you know, community college is the foundation of upward mobility and knowledge. And so no further ado, let's give a big round of applause to Marian Carrasco Nungaray. Take it away, Marian.
All right, thank you so much. I'd like to thank Santa Barbara City College and Thomas for inviting me here today. I'm very fortunate to have a brother who understands community college. We get in discussions about current events. You know, his background's political science and Chicano studies. My background is sociology, and then all my counseling. I am so happy I am a counselor. I love being a counselor. And I have to share that when I told my family I wasn't going to go to law school, many were disappointed. And, you know, they were like, what? You're not going to go to law school? Why? And it's because after graduating from Berkeley, I started working at Ventura College as a counselor assistant. I was the first in the county hired. I wasn't wanted. They're like, you're classified. If we hire classified, we'll never hire faculty. And I understood. I understand that whole concept, but there is a role for everyone. And I planned to work 1 year only and then save money and then reapply to law school because I had already taken the LSAT, the law school admissions test. I had been applied to Harvard and UCLA, Berkeley School of Law. At the time it was called Bolt, now it's Berkeley School of Law. Hastings, King Hall at Davis. I was in the midst of just from kindergarten, elementary school, junior high, high school, Oxnard College, Berkeley, and then I was now pursue law school. And I just said, wait a minute, I need to work. I need to save some money. I just need to save some money, then I'll go back to law school. And it was at community college when I had told my friends, I'm going to be quitting. They're like, why? And so I had to ask that question to myself, like, why am I really wanting to pursue law studies? And it was because the one core value I have is fairness. That's my number one core value. I don't care who you are, you know, I'm going to help you. And they said, well, you're helping students and you're good at it. Why don't you become a counselor? And so that's what happened. I stopped thinking about law school and I decided to pursue a master's in counseling. And then I applied and got the job and I never left Ventura College. So I was talking to my brother how there are so many changes that are occurring at the community college. You know, the master plan of California, when it was written, it's never been completed. The top 10% of all students were to be, you know, admitted into the UC, University of California system. The next 33% of graduating high school students were supposed to go straight to the Cal State University system if they chose. And then community colleges were supposed to be open for the masses. Anyone pursuing higher learning who wanted to get job skills, maybe take some classes just for knowledge. A lot of that has changed because of recent legislation. I've been told, you're passionate, you're not political. But you know, my role as a counselor has morphed into becoming more of an advocate. I've always been an advocate, but becoming more strategic and creating friendships and allyships to try to get the needs of our students met. So I was speaking with Thomas about what's happening at my job. I am the counselor who's reassigned to coordinate the University Transfer Center at Ventura College. And rightly so, as Thomas stated, I love working with Angela Warren. She is amazing. She is brilliant. And I love fostering the close relationship I have with Jenny Erica in her chat program. I mean, Santa Barbara City, you guys get it right. You are cutting edge. You are the progressives in the state. So when I brought up this conversation with Thomas, he says, you're talking about equity counseling. And I said, what? He says, you know, when you're talking about equity, you know, we've already had years of diversity, equity, and inclusion and access. You have just talked about a need to really talk about and have bold conversations about equity counseling. Because I was sharing with my brother that, you know, a lot of the new policies that are coming out are being discriminatory to all students. For example, first gen, everybody's first gen, that's their first gen only, first gen. That's problematic. It should be like the original plan of California, the master plan of California for all students. Let me give you a case in point. I had a parents, wonderful parents, they came in with their son He was a recent high school graduate from Ventura High School. And the mom was so eloquent. She was so beautiful. And she started sharing, yeah, I told my son, don't take calculus your senior year of high school. It's not necessary. I listened, and in my mind, I'm sure the counselors are on board. I'm like, oh my God, what a mistake. But I said nothing. I listened. So I listened to her conversation, and she was very compelling about her rationale for telling her son, don't take calculus. Son, go ahead and just wait and take it at community college. She went on to tell me that the teacher at the high school level wasn't very competent, that she had other parents that shared with her that their kids were not as well prepared, yada, yada, yada. So she thought, in the best interest of her child, you know, what mother doesn't love their children, right? She thought, I'm going to save myself and I'm going to save my son some time and just tell him, wait and take it at community college. So there they were in my office, and he's an engineering major. So engineering majors are very unique. They focus on their core classes, calculus, chemistry, physics, engineering classes. And they do some general ed, like, you know, English composition, critical thinking, and a few others. But the majority is their core. So after the parents and the father chimed in, and the son just looked at me and they said, well, you know, can you help us with the class? I said, absolutely. I said, but first I need to work on your mindset. And I looked at the parents. I go, starting with you, parents. I didn't say that, parents. I just said, starting with you. And I, you know, put my hand. I go, then I looked at the student. I go, and I have to work with you. And then the mom looked at me like, mindset? I said, yes. I said, you know, you shared with me that you graduated from college. And I'm not going to guess how long ago. She was, 30 years ago. Oh, yeah, I graduated from UC Santa Barbara. And my husband, we met on State Street. And I'm like, awesome. And so they were so happy. And I said, well, things have changed in 30 years. I said, so by skipping calculus, you may have delayed or increased, rather, your time here at community college. And they looked at me puzzled, like, what? I said, well, I'm looking at your high school transcripts, and it's because you stopped your junior year. So for those of you who aren't counselors, this is really specific. I said, you know, you didn't take trigonometry, and you're going to need pre-calculus. And I'd love for you to be successful in those 5 semesters of calculus that you're going to take. Their eyes got this big. I said, and I want to let you know, you are going to be an engineer. But I have to work on your mindset, because if you came with the notion that you're going to be out in 2 years, probably not. I want to talk about what kind of quality of life are you going to have? Are you going to work? And the parents, oh, no, he's not going to work, just school, just go. I go, great. I'm glad you have a strong support system. Beautiful. I go, but let's get into your ed plan. And then I want you to understand, you are not driving an ambulance. And they looked at me. I said, what's the hurry? You're coming underprepared, but I can get you to that skill level. So I want you to understand that you're going to go to a university, and hopefully to the one of your choice, you know, your top choice. So I just need you to be a little patient, because I got to get your skill level up. So what I just described is equity counseling. You probably already do it, and you didn't even realize it, because equality is when we treat everyone the same. Just come in, here's your widget, here, go through whatever. Equity counseling is when we recognize that not all students start from the same place. He wants to be an engineer. That student didn't have calculus. I could have just told him, oh, forget it, you're way behind. It's the way we approach situations with students. And so that's why Thomas invited me today, because he says, wow, Marian, that's really empowering, the way that you approach the student, to let them know that it's okay. You don't have all the classes. It's okay. You can still be on that plan of being an engineer.
So Marian, real quick,
Yes.
could you reiterate the difference between equity and equality? That's
Yeah.
a really important question that I want our audience to know.
Thank you. So this definition, there's so many. To prepare for today, I Googled, equity counseling, and of course the Association of Counseling, American Association of Counseling gives it a definition. I thought this was the simplest definition. We all know what equality is. It's like you go to a party, everyone gets the same, one piece of pizza, everyone gets the same piece of pizza. But equity is when we actually ask the person, do you have any food allergies? Is there anything that you're allergic to? What can you eat and what can't you eat? Oh, you're gluten? Okay, so let me get you something gluten-free. You can still have pizza, but here's a piece of gluten-free so you don't get sick. That is adapting and changing and acknowledging that people are different and it's okay. That was a really simplistic example to give you, but it's not giving people the same, it's meeting their need. I hope that example helps it.
It does. So in that spirit, I want, the students and our counselors to be thinking, if we know 40% of Santa Barbara City College is Mexicano, Chicano, Latino, Euro-Americans, and we have African-Americans, that's the mindset that we have to have. What do these different communities need in regards to, reading and writing and basic math, what type of counseling, et cetera. So thank you so much. I'm sorry, keep on going.
It's okay. No, thank you. We had discussed this would be our exchange of dialogue.
And if anybody else in the chat or online has a question, please raise your hand. This is just Marian's going to be giving us a lot of information, but if you have a burning question, please raise your hand, because this is a discussion / lecture.
Yeah.
Keep on going, Marian.
Thank you. So when it comes down to, so what is equity counseling? What does that mean for a school counselor to be focused on equity? What equity is in schools at community colleges is being fair and inclusive for students. So the students that are on today, what equity counseling means is when you go in to see a counselor, and as a counselor, I'm speaking from personal experience, I've been told, when I asked, was that helpful? I always summarize, that's just my style. I'm like, okay. And then I asked the student, okay, so how many units do you need to transfer to a UC? And then the students will look at their notes. I have them take notes in my sessions. Okay, how many units do you need for the Cal State? Okay, what is your cumulative GPA? Now, what's your GPA for Cal State? What's your GPA for UC? Oh, you're thinking about going out of state. What do they take IGETC? So we use key terms. Some of my students do not know what those terms are. So I slow down, explain before we can speed up. So equity as a counselor is being fair and teaching. Counselors were teachers, we know that. And so I was telling Thomas that when I did my doctorate, my research question was, how do classroom faculty? I didn't want to study counselors because counselors basically were usually going to become a counselor because we want to be helpful. So I wanted to know, what do classroom faculties do? And when I was researching in the literature, a lot of the literature came up as social capital, and helpers are called institutional agents. And so let me just break that down really easy. If you work at a community college, you're an institutional agent because you're getting paid to help. So usually it goes real specific, but just to make it just as a casual conversation, when students thank me like, oh my gosh, you were so helpful. I'm like, that's my job. I'm happy to serve. Sometimes they look at me like, dang, you are not like my high school counselor. Or they'll say like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to be so helpful. Because I will pick up the phone, call a university, get out my, I say, I don't know. Because counselors, the most powerful thing we can do when we're with students is say the truth. We're guidance counselors. So we guide students towards self-discovery. We may give students homework to look things up. We don't know it all. And so sometimes we have a lot of information, but sometimes we have to say, let me get back to you. So when we develop this relationship, we are really in a position of power because counselors are getting, and faculty members are getting paid. We have knowledge and we decide who we're going to invest our knowledge in. So what do I mean by that? You may have a meeting to go to, you're running late, and you look at your clock and you're like, man, I still have a half hour, but the student's not asking me any questions. So you might say, do you have any other questions? Oh, okay, no questions. All right, see you later. Take care, keep in touch, bye. But to be an agent of change, to really invest in that student, what you're going to do as a counselor or as a teacher is you're going to think the whole picture. What is the student not asking me? Of course, students don't really know what they don't know. But as counselors, as practitioners, as classroom faculty, we know, as classified colleagues, we know what the student's not asking. So to be progressive, to be to really apply equity with all students is to empower them with your information. So in the literature, it calls people transfer agents. So a lot of scholars write about it. I love Acela Ben Simon, Alicia Dowd from USC Center of Urban Education. They wrote all kinds of articles about how to help transfer students, especially students from marginalized backgrounds, from under-resourced high schools, students of color, because what we know is that many students do not transfer. They may have an intention of transferring, but they don't. So they refer to people on community college community college campuses or anybody in higher ed who helps transfer students as transfer agents. If you are working at a transfer center, you're a transfer agent. If you help change policy, they refer to you as a transfer champion. And so a lot of people have, written about the community college experience. They've talked about how transfer agents really help students feel like they belong. Like by telling them, you got this. They encourage that student. They validate their experience. Just like I told that engineering family, that student that wanted to be an engineer, I kept it positive, but realistic. And I told him, you got this, you're gonna transfer. It's not if, it's when. And so be kind to yourself, because sometimes students have been listening to the radio, they listen to television or friends, and this whole notion of hurry, 2 years at community college, 2 years at the university. Why? Why be in a hurry? It takes time to develop a consciousness and really do the work at community college, to do research and career guidance and career education. Like, who are you? What are your values? What is your passion? What are your strengths? What interests you? That's really what we should help students understand, is they need to explore who they are. And then the second question that they need to answer is, what do you want? What kind of career? Have you seen someone doing something that you love? Once a student can say, I want to study this and I want to go there, they come and see a counselor, and that's easy. That next part's easy, because as counselors, we're skilled. I think our heads are better than computers because we have all the cross synapse in every system, out of state, in-state, California, private, public, UC, CSU. And now all these changes are coming upon us. And so what we're seeing is that many discussions about how can counselors promote equity? What can we do to close the transfer gaps? What can we do to promote student success? How do we acknowledge achievement? Rightly so. And I am so appreciative that those are questions that we are beginning to ask as the California Community College system, but not everything is geared towards that transfer student. So I want to tell you that the next part is a little political, because now what we see in the state of California are politics. They really are. And there's so much, but I only wanted to highlight on 3 things today. We have changed. It's happened. Laws have affected our campuses. First one I want to discuss is AB 1705. Now, while this law thought that it was really opening, access to students, that, we were going to help students get into the required transferable math and English, and we promote do it in your first year because the statistics show us if you can complete math and transferable math and transferable English classes, you can get out faster. Well, it's really problematic for the student who might be coming from an under-resourced, underfunded high school. Maybe they haven't put in the work. So now we are telling them just get into English composition. Are they really prepared? And because the law states that community colleges may teach classes that are not transferable. You just have to show the evidence that, not all students are successful. Like at Ventura College where I work, they don't like to talk about the students that have not passed our English composition or critical thinking or our transfer math the first semester. It's kind of like that's downplayed, and what they're saying is 60% of students passed. Yeah, but what happened to the other 40%? Now it's affected their financial aid. If it persists, they can get put on probation. They could get cut off financial aid, and I've seen it. And that's when my frustration as a counselor has come in. And that's when I decided I need to speak up. You know, we created another law, SB 1440. We have these wonderful transfer degrees for Cal State. Not all students go to Cal State. So it's difficult when the student wants to go to a private school or out of state and they really want that associate's degree that is going to a Cal State. It's their choice. But we have to let students understand it's not necessary. You don't even need an associate's degree if you're going to a University of California system or out of state or a public school. But again, because of students' choice, some of them say, no, but I want it. Okay. And so our jobs is to really give students the whole picture and help them understand how it helps them. And so that's why for me, equity is not all, it's not guided pathways. I said it. I'm not very popular on my campus because I'm like the lone voice in the room saying, excuse me, we've created these pathways that are not, and we created all these educational plans, and I went through those educational plans. And I'm gonna be very colloquial here. I'm like, this is a setup from the get up. Why would you, for non-STEM majors, okay, because STEM majors, it's formulaic, like I've said, it's, you know, they have their core, there's no option, you got to get on that pathway for STEM, but there are so many other non-STEM. And as I'm looking at these educational plans, I'm thinking, wow, this plan wasn't developed balancing the student's load or having really an understanding of students' lives. Thomas said at the beginning, most of our students have to work, and students should be admired. They should be celebrated that they are working. We all know work, that's a sign of responsibility. That's a sense of self-worth. And the money and the experiences that the student is gaining is to probably most likely help themselves or families. And, you know, it's a must. So we as equity-minded counselors, we and faculty as employees, we need to embrace that. So I ask, why is a lot of our services not open like daytime services? We have maybe one night only. Why? Why don't we understand that our students, majority are part-time? Why? Where's the equity in that? And we have monetized PACE. Let me talk about the third one, student success grants. Now we are telling students, hurry, if you take 15 units, we will give you more money. So we've incentivized the PACE, hurry, hurry. And this, in our district, we have this whole slogan, complete in two, complete in two. And I am the practitioner in the transfer center. What I have seen is lower GPAs. Students aren't as competitive as they were before because they are taking on more units, and that's having them to, you know, separate a lot of the time to cover all the classes that they're taking. And not only that, their work-life balance. I see students exhausted, mental health, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, wow. I completed my doctorate 10 years ago, and we talked about the collision coast, the collision. It was going to be a collision in the state of California. We're living it. We talked about it, probably going to happen. This was 2010, and I completed in 2011. Here we are, you know, 12 years later, and I'm living that. I see all these different requirements for students, and it's not for all students. So we have to understand, what is equity? Creating adaptions, creating change, and making these little changes for students that may need it. So what is one of those change? Financial aid. I have so many students who we help them through the application process. We then offer a next step workshop, but then those students that don't come to us, they're like, oh my God, what do I do? Floundering. So this is just one issue I wanted to talk about today. And that's right now, students are all excited. It's like my happiest time. You know, students are getting accepted to universities, and then they're coming to me. Oh my God, how do I decide? Some students, I had a student that was told by UC Davis, never make a decision based on your financial aid package. And I looked at the student and I'm like, I'm sorry. I go, I'm sorry that person gave you their perspective. But if you need to look at all your financial aid awards letters from the different universities you've been in, absolutely. That could be one of the criteria that you use to decide where to transfer. And the student goes, oh, it's okay. I'm like, yes, because ultimately, of course, we want students to go to the best university that they select. And for that, we know some students are like, I want to go to X university because they have a great basketball team, or I want to go to Y university because they had a great football team. And as educators, we're like, oh, but you're not going to play basketball and you're not a football player, but oh, I get it. You want the campus life. Okay, students make decisions for different reasons. But the one thing that I can tell you is that when I look at those financial aid packages, I have an office in my University Transfer Center. We don't have ceilings. We violate FERPA every day, folks. We don't have ceilings. I can hear every other, there's 5 offices. I hear everybody's conversations. Some of my colleagues will say, oh, you'll have to go to financial aid. I'm not for financial aid. I cannot help you. I cringe. Because equity counseling, what is it again? Meeting the student where they're at and adapting. How difficult it is for you to listen to that student and say, okay, let's call the financial aid office at X university. I've done it. So I want to help you empower your students. When the students look at their financial aid awards, first off, I tell the student says, this is not enough. I hear that often. And I tell them, okay, let's have a conversation. I'm like, did anything in your family change? Did your parents stop working? Are you going to plan on working the same amount of hours when you transfer? Are your parents getting less money or more money? Was there another addition into your family? Maybe did your mom have a baby? Did someone come live with you? All of that family size and income, if there's been a change, the student can request, they can call up the university, wherever they're wanting to go to, and ask to be re-evaluated based on their current financial picture. Financial aid departments are empowered to use PJ. A student goes, peanut butter and jelly? I'm like, no, PJ, professional judgment. They're like, what's that? I go, professional judgment is when you meet with they call them financial aid counselors. You meet with that person at the university and you tell them, guess what? I had a student tell me, oh yeah, my dad got double pay for COVID, but that pay ended. So last year on his financial taxes, 2022, it looked like we made a lot of money, but all that pay got taken away. I'm like, beautiful. Make a note. And when we get online, I want you to share that with the advisor. They take Zoom meetings, and just that one call, they eliminated the student's unsubsidized loan. This is at San Diego State for $4,000 and said, oh, we're going to give you that in another university grant for $2,000. And do you want federal work study for $2,000? The student goes, yes, because this student was thinking no loans, no loans, no loans. And then I had to have another discussion. If it's a difference between going to a university or not, you might want to consider the loans. So it's just having those really personal conversations with students and helping them expand their mind and ask for more. You can ask for more aid. The first challenge I see for students, an institutional barrier from the university side, is their SIR, their statement of intent to register. I saw a deposit required now of $500. Boom, required by May 1. Some universities are saying June 1. Students can call and ask if they can defer that. And many universities now have included a toggle on their statement of intent to register where it just, you click on it and say defer that deposit, and they'll defer it until their first payout. So I just want you to know that at the community college level, I've had to advocate for students because some of them are completing their associate's degree for transfer, which is a 60-unit program. But I know a student may transfer up to 70 units max if they're not going to stay on that same pathway once they get to the university. So it's a matter of encouraging students to work with financial aid, ask for more, and maybe they can get additional funding. So you might be thinking, what's my role now as a counselor? Well, this conversation, our discussion is have us think about, like, why did you go into counseling? And I know it's obvious. because you want to best serve students. So you got to do the analysis. You could be the difference for students, especially students of color and students from marginalized and underfunded background. You as a counselor can decide if you're going to use your social capital, link them to resources, find out what you need to do. And what I loved is the whole notion of social capital at the really came about by Ricardo Stanton Salazar. And he shifted from talking about the title of institutional agents to be called empowering agent. And I love that. An empowering agent really is going to provide the expectation of the college for the student, help them navigate. They're going to successfully get the student those educational resources. And number 4 really hasn't really been valued as it has been the last 3 years that we've all gone through COVID. That emotional support. So many students are basically unsure, unaware, not as confident. They have ambition, they really want it, but they're kind of like hesitant. So it's really trying to work with that student, try to understand them, to be their support and empower them, to let them know. Now at Santa Barbara City, your whole transfer culture is amazing. It's the envy of so many of us because you guys are amazing. But I want you to know that you matter. You know, you make I have heard so much from students, and it's interesting when they start complaining about, you know, counselor this, oh, that counselor this, that counselor that. At my workshops, I really have done this. People are like, you're so bold, Marian. Yeah, I am. I'm kind of bold. I kind of like it too. I'll tell them, can you get on your smartphone, everybody? I said, I'll tell them, okay, now go to the pictures. And then I'm like, okay, look and pretend you're going to make a selfie. And then they're like looking at themselves. I'm like, okay, say hello, counselor. And they're like, what? I'm like, you now have to be your own counselor. I need you to ask the questions, to try to navigate, seek, and find. They're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, as much as you thought we didn't do enough, well, we hope we helped you a little, because now when you get to the university, you are going to have to be that person that's going to have to find the answers, and don't stop until you get what you need. So equity counseling is per student daily. It's every day. We have to have the mindset that we can make a difference. And with that, I'd like to ask you, do you have any questions?
Real quick, man, I just want to
Yes.
reemphasize, because we're talking about counseling right now, but this overlaps to teaching, you know, history, Chicano studies, English, etc. And I just really want to reemphasize this, a major concept that you gave us is creating adaptations, meeting our students where they are at and adapting to our students. And what I want to also add to this conversation is Marian was one of the first Chicana scholars. When she did her dissertation, she turned the lens on the institution and said, what is the institution's responsibility? And the 2 African Americans from San Diego State, I told Marian, I go, Marian, there's these 2 African Americans that have a very similar theory of that you do. And she goes, yeah, we sat on the same panel and they cite me. They literally took Marian's theory and they, you know, they added to it. So go ahead, Marian, what you want to address?
So what happened was, so he's talking about Frank Harris and Luke from San Diego State.
Yeah, they just taught Ventura, Santa Barbara City.
They're amazing. I love them.
Yeah,
Okay, so what happened was when I was researching, I went to Cal Lutheran University, and it was a part-time program, hybrid. And it was, you know, one of the first hybrid. And I thought, Thomas inspired me. He did a PhD. I told him, Thomas, I work full time. I can't do a PhD. He goes, well, research and find a program that you can do. And that's when Cal Lutheran, similar to USC, they also have an EDD program that's kind of hybrid. You meet once a month in person for 3 days, and then the rest of your work is online corresponding with your chair. So I said, I could do this. And I went to Cal Lutheran. My chair is Dr. Edlin Pena. And so I met her chair. Her chair is Dr. Estela Ben Simon. So when I was complaining and I was just like telling my professor, I read over 200 articles on student success. I go, these are like blaming the student. Every article I was reading says, oh, it's because the student's poor, the student's a first in their family, the student's black, the student's brown, the student's yellow. Oh, all of these excuses. I'm like, but those are given. You're born. You know, can you really change, you know, your race when you're born, like your family background? You're born with it. But all of these professors, they're getting paid at the university, at the community colleges. It was a definition of crazy. If you keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expect a different outcome, that's crazy, right? That's someone who's like, who's crazy? You? Or like, you're not adjusting. I had a professor tell me, oh yeah, my students, chapter 4, they keep on getting Fs. And I'm like, oh, have you changed anything? Are you doing like an organic assessment now? What have you changed? They're like, I don't have to change, the student has to change. I'm like, but you already know the student's going to fail that over and over and over. So my professor goes, Marian, you've subverted the question. The lens is on the student, their family, their generation, what they do. And I hate that resilience. Yeah, the bottom line, yeah, we're resilient through trauma. We're resilient because we've had a really, challenged background. And as if that's supposed to be congratulated. I mean, come on. So my professor said, you've subverted the question. You've now put the lens on the institution. So now the question was, what do you do? What are your forms of social capital to empower students? And there was very little evidence. Everyone talks about the student, but no one's talking about the practices of the faculty. So my study interviewed successful transfer students from the community college onto the universities. And then the qualitative part was I interviewed them and I asked them, was there a classroom faculty that helped you? And I only interviewed 5 classroom faculty, 1 STEM professor, and 3 were from social sciences, 1 was from the humanities. And I asked them, what do you do? And so I recorded their practices. And the 3 factors that I found is all of these faculty institutional agents is what I called it. They put down their syllabus, maybe for 10, 15 minutes, once or twice a week, and they appeared as a human. They weren't forging through the syllabus. No, they shared about their educational journey. They talked about their challenges, what they had to do, and their personal stories with students served as motivation. And students would tell me time and time, my teacher really cares. There's Nell Noddings. She talks about the ethic of care. And what we now know, this was back, I'm telling you, a dozen years ago, when someone gets to know a student's name, when that faculty member, that staff member gets to know the student by their name, now the student feels like, wow, like, hey, how are you doing today? And you say their name, they're like, the evidence shows those students think, and they know you care enough to know their name, you care about them. When they don't show up in class, you send that email, or you missed your counseling appointment. Is there something going on? How can I reschedule? They will now perform for you. They think you care, so I'm going to care more. It's all written. And so the other finding was that when the students would share, like, I'm working 2 shifts or whatever, the institutional agent, the faculty would link them to their resource. Okay, I'm going to send you to this person and let me know how it went.
Marian, real quick, how do you put, Kathy is saying, put your presentation in presentation mode. How do I do that?
Is that like this?
Is that like that, Kathy?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, keep on going. Sorry,
Okay.
Kathy.
No, it's okay. Oh, I don't know. I had it like that because I want to see what was coming
I
in.
think
You
I
got
have.
it, Marianne. You got it. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jenny Erica.
So, thank you, Jenny Erica. So, classroom faculty can make the difference. The literature shows that counselors, that's what we do every day, but classroom faculty, they have the most time with the student, if not on a daily basis, a weekly basis. So getting to know your student personally and sending them to your contacts, like, someone in EOPS, someone in financial aid, Angela in the Transfer Academy, or send them to Jenny Erica, or someone in general counseling. What you send the students to your contact, and then you follow up. Did they help you? And sometimes, we're busy and they're like, oh no, they weren't able to see me. It's okay. You give them another contact, or you make a phone call. That type of personalization of the experience is all the difference for the students. And the last part is that you you share with students other students' success. That serves as motivation. So all those little keys, a little factor of just showing how education makes a difference. For that student who is marginalized, what they get is empowered, because as we know, one of the main reasons for these students coming from lower backgrounds, for more unprepared backgrounds, they seek and desire upward social mobility. And what we know as educators is when you educate that person, that's not probably won't be the last person in their family. The next sibling or the cousin or friend or neighbor or parent comes back to you. And that's what the community means. Community college is we are for everyone. So in spite of the policy changes, in spite of this collision course, of really trying to get students in, and like this one student told me, very colloquial, but he says, man, they just want to get me in to jack me up to get me out faster. And I'm like, oh, I go, man, that I never thought about that. He goes, yeah, he goes, my GPA, they already told me he got on unsatisfactory GPA. And then I had to empower him. Do you know about academic forgiveness? What's that? I'm like, well, you changed your major. You don't even need those classes. So I need you to have 1 full year since that class. And I told him about, on our campus, it's take 12 units and earn a 3.0 or higher, or complete 24 units with a 2.0 or 15 with a 3.0. So you have a range. Just come back and I can go back, and what we'll do is the grade will be eliminated your grade points so that your GPA goes up. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you're not going to USC. They average the first attempt and second attempt and others. I go, so don't worry about it. You're not going to USC, but you're going to plan to transfer to a UC. They'll see that you repeated it and they'll discard the first attempt. And that's another way of helping the student where they're at, to let them know, don't worry about it. Let's keep on going forward. Let's go forward.
Thank you so much, Marian. Does anybody have any burning questions or comments as Marian was giving us our information? Thank you, Marian.
Sorry.
Anybody? How are we doing out there? Jenny, Erica, Angela, Kathy, Joshua, you have a question? Oh, go ahead, Guire, go ahead.
Oh, Marian, thank you so much. I mean, it just is so helpful as a counselor to hear you talk about your practices, where you're centering the student and you're thinking about their needs and really breaking down silos to get them the help that they need. So I love that it's a simple way of framing it, of equity counseling. And I'd love for us all to just keep thinking about how can we do that better? How can we be centering our students' needs wherever they're coming, wherever they start is where we need to meet them. So I just want to give you my appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jose Vega, go ahead.
It's not Jose. This is Ana Maria Valle.
Oh,
Hey, Ana Maria.
Hi.
But I'm
Hi.
here, Marian. Hi.
Hi, Jose.
These are
I-
colleagues from Oxnard College. Thank you, Ana Maria.
I just want to say, I truly appreciate, Marianne, you bringing this forward. I think it's very much needed, especially in this era of new counselors coming in, the new generations, and I think they're awesome. But this whole era right now of equity and diversity, I think this is very timely. It's not new, as you pointed out. But nonetheless, I truly appreciate many of your insights, and especially your research background and your way of presenting things. It makes it so clear. Thank you very much. The last I wanted to add was, I just attended a distance education conference here at Oxnard College that was hosted for the college. And one of the things that kept emanating from those distance ed presentation was that instructors, faculty needed to show care. And how do you show it? And you gave an outstanding example right now that even I will continue to use, that when a student misses an appointment, you don't say, hey, you missed, but rather, I hope all is well, because you don't never know what's happening on the other side. And I wish in terms of counseling that we could present students how to Zoom with putting backgrounds, how to do backgrounds. You know, there's so much more teaching that needs to go on. But again, thank you, Dr.
Thank
Thomas.
you.
Thank you so much, Ana Maria. And I want to give
much.
my props to Ana Maria Valle. She's been one of our mentors that went to Northridge and has been an amazing counselor for many, many years. Thank you so much, Ana Maria. Our
Former EOPS coordinator at Oxford.
coordinator. Thank you, Ana Maria. You're the best. Kathy, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Marian. I've heard so much about you from Tomas and what a wonderful job you do. And I really appreciated your presentation. And I was wondering if, Tomas, did you record this?
Yes, I am. I'm going to record it and send it to the CIA tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm joking. No, I'm totally joking. No, I'm going to record it and I'm actually going to send it to, I was going to send it to Kim Monda. She requested it. And to whoever else wants to watch it.
Yeah,
Some good examples.
I'd like to have it. And I was wondering if you would share your PowerPoint with us, or is that proprietary?
Oh, no,
ma'am.
I'll share it. I'll share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is public education. Welcome to democracy. This is a public education institution.
Well, I would appreciate it. And Marian, again, thank you. And I look forward to meeting you sometime. Both of your brothers work here. One of them is our golf coach, and he's great. And of course, Tomas has been wonderful. So it's nice to see the other sibling.
Right on, Kathy. Maybe you could call KEYT and they could do a little special on those Picantos.
Well, I will share that the book that really inspired me is by Dr. Ricardo Stanton Salazar. It's called Manufacturing Hope and Despair. And when you think about it, you know, at community college, so many students, I can't believe it. I'm on TikTok. There's a lot of people who don't like TikTok. I love TikTok. My sister says, you're a lurker. No, I have my own account. I watch, and many students are sharing their acceptance and their denials. And I am astounded. 4.0s rejected by like many UCs, rejected by private schools. And now Angela Warren, I see Leti Mojica, she's also the coordinator, counselor coordinating the University Transfer Center at Oxford College. And we're invited to the University of California. They're having this whole enrollment management ploy to get more high school students to go to community college. It's called dual enrollment. It's a little different. We all know dual enrollment, but their whole idea is all the students that they rejected, they're going to tell them, go to community college for 1 year and then come to us. So that's a strategic ploy. But what does that do to the marginal student? If they get to the university, I mean, again, counselors, we give all the information, students get to decide. But in my thinking and my analysis, it's like, wow, that may create more debt for that student if they are not lower income, because lower income students will get financial aid. You know, higher income students don't care, they don't need assistance. But that middle gap student, the working class student, the lower middle class, that's a big gap. They're now enticing them to come as a sophomore. So we have so many changes going forward. And as practitioners at the community college, we have to have these hard conversations with students to let them know. I had one the other day. A student was a biology major and she's transferring to Cal State Channel Islands. They're trying to grow their enrollment, so they're not checking major preparations. She's a biology major. And I said, okay, you understand that, you know, these classes, 2 full years of chemistry and biology, these are lower division classes. You can complete them here at Ventura College and then transfer. She goes, I don't want to. I'm done with Ventura College. I'm transferring. I'm like, okay. So just I want you to understand, you know, the tuition there is about $7,000 a year. And at community college, it's $46 a unit, about, you know, looking at books and everything, maybe $900, $1,000 a semester or so. I was like going over the math with her, or a year, or whatever. She was adamant. I applied, I'm gone. And so, wow, you know, we talk about where's the equity in that? You know, students still have the choice, but in my perspective as a counselor, we don't make decisions for students. We tell them, here are your choices, and then we just support them along the way.
Thank you so much, Marian. Akil, go ahead. Akil?
I just want to say thank you so much, Marian. And also, I'm in your family. I deal with athletic eligibility here, and I met your brother Ernie. And I just got to say, your parents, man, something special going on down there. I just got to thank them. And I just have a quick comment in regards to, I hear people talk often about meeting students where they're at. And, I think we really have to be able to dig deeper than meeting students where they're at. We really have to understand. And if you can't understand, if you're dealing with a student of color and you don't understand like what their trials and tribulations have been, then you need to really, at least at the bare minimum, have empathy for them and understand that despite all the challenges, they're here. And then also to our counselors, and if you can't relate, I would say, listen to the people who have that experience. If you're dealing with a person of color and you can't really relate, lean on the people who are in those positions who've been there and done it. So in this case, I would say lean on your other coworkers who may have better experience. I think that also will always benefit the student. If you don't understand, lean on the people who've been there, and take their opinion with a lot of weight.
Thank you so much, Akil. I really, your words are powerful, and I want to just really state that it's as Marian's talking about. I totally agree with what you just said, but what we're dealing with at Santa Barbara City College, we're in a crisis right now, in regards to AB 705 and AB 1705 and both, and just so I just wanted to talk about just the basic concept of equity in counseling, because counselors are so important, and there's so many changes right now. We just got a area F ethnic studies requirement. Now they're coming out with a new IGETC blah blah blah. But I want to
Virgin Cal gets it in fall of 25.
Thank you. But I really want to emphasize. So this is our first discussion lecture, but we're going to be having another discussion lecture on April 17th. And I want to really reemphasize the concept of adaptation, right? Meeting our students where we are at, adapting to the situation. And with that in mind, I'm going to hit this head on. And a lot of people agree with me and some people disagree with me, but I'm just going to say this. 2021, 2022, English 110 grading distribution, we put 1,587 students in English 110, and 658 got Fs or they did not pass, et cetera, et cetera. So we are in a crisis at this time, and all counselors need to be aware of this. All PS counselors, we need to discuss this. This is an extreme situation. I teach Ethnic Studies 107, and the definition of racism is it's systemic. It is when one group excludes another group from housing, education, healthcare, and capital. It's a system, and we are practicing this system. So what I'm going to do on April 17th, I'm bringing in some professors. So just so we know, Pasadena City College, Pierce, and Santa Monica City College have gone, it's the way they're interpreting AB 1705. And I want to challenge our English department, and it's the way we're interpreting 1705, where we're not offering these classes. So we need to discuss it. And my main point is that we need to meet our students where they're at. And with that being said, I hope you could join us on April 17th. It's from 4 to 6. It's an awkward time, but it's going to be, I'm going to bring in 2 Chicano English professors to show us what they're doing at Pierce, how they're going around it. And that being said, is there any other questions on equity counseling? Thank you so much, Marian. And thank you everybody for coming.
I just want to have a closing thought that
go ahead.
Just for all the counselors that are here online today, just know that you are valued, you're appreciated, and you're needed. You make the difference, and it's every day. Every day no day is the same, and that's what I love about being a counselor, is that every day is different. I don't know, every student's different, their story is different, and it makes me excited that I get up, I go to work, and I'm there, and I can help make a difference. And I just want to thank the counselors. We have a tremendous job. It is so important and needed. And I'm going back into the classroom in fall. I'll be still counseling. I'll still be the counselor who coordinates our University Transfer Center, but I'll teach only one counseling class, College Success. And I'll be back teaching Chicano Studies part-time, which I'm super excited about. I'll be teaching a class introduction at Ventura College in Chicano Studies and teaching La Chicana Contemporary Issues. And in preparation of teaching, I know the tremendous impact I could have on students. And one of the things that I get up every day is it gives me joy when I hear back from students that have said, hey, I just want you to know that I'm a teacher now, or I'm a counselor now, or I own my own business, or that I'm getting my doctorate. And I feel so humbled, like, wow. And they'll tell me, and you help me believe in myself, because we are the visionaries. We believe in students before they believe in themselves. So please keep on doing the best jobs you can. We take self-care. I love that new word, self-care. It's important for us to be balanced, get the help that we need. That's what we need. I never thought I'd say this, but towards the end of my career now, I can actually say, we need the managers, the deans, the people in positions that can help us get the resources to do our jobs more effectively. And that I will never stop advocating for the University Transfer Centers, for having more counselors so that we can take the time to have and really practice the ethic of care with our students. So help us. For those of you who are online, please continue to support, counselors and the ever-changing role and jobs that we have. It's very complicated.
And this is what happens when educated Chicanos and Chicanas get educated from Oxnard, California. Leti Mojica, thank you so much for coming. Jenny, Erica, you guys,
Jose, thank you for being here.
Jamise, everybody that came here. This means a lot. And one of the things is that the California Community College system has 2 million students, 60% Mexicano, Chicano, Latino. And this is an amazing system, and we need to keep it going, and we need to fight for it. Angela Warren, you're the best.
Yes.
And, not just because Marian's my sister, but she's been able to develop one of the best transfer centers in the nation. And Santa Barbara's right up there, and Oxford College is right there too. So thank you all so much.
He's not biased at all, everybody.
Now, this is factual, scientific information. But thank you all so much. Any questions, please email Marian at Ventura College or email me. And hopefully I'll see you all again April 17th. American Ethnic Studies, Santa Barbara City College rocks. Thank you.
Yes, good job. Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
good job, Marian.
Thank you.
Later.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
I
Bye-bye.
appreciate it.
I have one question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm actually a student at Ventura College. My professor actually sent me this Zoom link meeting, and I was wondering if I can go back to this. Like, where can I find the video?
I'll send it to Dr. Fuentes. That's Frankie Fuentes, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, and just so you know, Lefty and everybody, we're working on
Come visit me.
Yeah, and we're
Thank you.
working on a Chicano Studies high school conference. Oxnard College, Ventura, Santa Barbara City College, and Moore Park for the fall. And we need more students. Thank you so much, student. What was your name again? Agustin? Thank you.
Yeah, it's Augustine, sir.
Thank you for your voice. And if you need
Come visit me in the transfer center.
yes.
Yeah, I will be. I actually talked to you the last time because you did an event with us this last Thursday, I believe. You went to our class to go talk.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All
Okay,
right,
thank
God
you,
bless everybody. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. You
See you
too.
later.
All
Bye.
right, thank you.